Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Combat Corner. However, come on now, the podcast. I'm your host, Rudy Rodriguez Showmont, and I got a recap of BKFC 70 for you. By now, you've seen I posted a bunch of reels from the event, interviews, post-fight press conference stuff. Hope you've enjoyed those. Folks, this was a banger of a card, an absolute banger of a card. For those of you who are new to this channel, please be sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Leave a comment. For those of you who are back again, I appreciate y'all. Leave a comment and hit the like button. Pound that like button. Let's talk about this card. This was a battle of Dade and Broward. Miami-Dade County versus Broward County. The 305 versus the 954. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. For those of you who are not familiar, you would never understand if you're not from down here, because I'm born and raised in the county of Dade. That's who I am. Born and raised in Miami Beach. Grew up in Miami Beach. Lived in Miami. Lived in Perrine. I've lived everywhere. I mean, you name it, I've lived there in Miami pretty much. I mean, from Miami Beach to Southwest Miami Kendall area to Sunny Isles, North Miami, North Bay Village, um, gosh, you name it, Perrine for about 8 months, Dadeland. I've lived just about everywhere in Dade County in my 20s because I never was happy with where I was living. So I was like, I'm moving somewhere else. But I moved up to Broward County in 2008. And I've lived in Broward now for, gosh, 17 years. First in Wilton Manors, then Oakland Park, and finally since 2012, living in Pompano Beach, Florida. Gotta say, I am still born and raised in the county of Dade. That said, this was a heck of a fight between Luis Baboon Palomino and Howard H.D. Davis. It was an absolute war between these two gentlemen. They laid it out on the line. Palomino comes away with the win, a unanimous decision. I believe the cards were 49 46, 49 46, 49 46, and 48 and 47. It was a very close fight. If you saw it either way, it wouldn't surprise me from my vantage point because they don't have us sitting ringside covering the event. They actually have us sitting probably a little bit too far, honestly. Um, but there are screens, but I'd like to sit a little bit, closer to the fight. From my vantage point, I think the biggest issue that I saw in this fight for Howard Davis was I thought he backed up too much. I thought he backed up too much. Palomino is very, very aggressive, and he comes forward, comes forward. And look, they both come forward, but there are a lot of times where I think Palomino was able to push Davis into the ropes, and whether or not there's a lot of landing going on, there is, the factor of you're the aggressor. You look like the aggressor. And at the end of the day, I think that's what got the job done for Palomino. I mean, this guy's incredible, man. 44 years old. He's built like a brick. I even asked him in his post-fight press conference, like, what is it? How do you do this? Because most of us at 44 are not even considering doing this. But this is what he's done his whole life. Even so, I mean, the guy's body looks like he's in his 20s. I mean, six pack, eight pack, attributes it all to diet and lifestyle and the way he's lived his entire life. But tremendously impressive performance by both guys. Palomino is an 8-time lightweight champion. He's never lost at the weight. So who his next fight is remains to be seen. I mean, I think it makes sense that he fights for the belt. He never lost the belt, so why wouldn't he fight to get that belt back? For Howard Davis, he's at 155. He can fight at 45, and there are a lot of opponents out there for him. If you look at who he just lost, he lost to the best guy in the division. And just here are just some highlights from the fight. right here is from
High point from Howard Davis. Luis Palomino. Right to the half of Davis. He's the end of our main event. That's the way you want to end a fight, Sean. Both guys go.
that was the end of the fight right there. Incredible finish to the fight. Actually, in round 3, Howard Davis had his tooth knocked out. His mouthpiece had come out, and he got his tooth knocked out. I mean, it was bananas when you see that happen. Just absolutely bonkers. And all he did was I spit that motherfucker out, is what he said. You know, what happened was his mouthpiece got knocked out, but you always gotta be ready. You can't look for your mouthpiece. That's rule number 1 in combat sports. Always be, defending at all times. He looks away, looks for the mouthpiece, turns around, and eats one right in the mouth. And the tooth comes out. It's right at the end of the round. And he could have, a lot of other people would have probably called it quits. He did not. He spit that motherfucker out, as he said, and got back on the grind. I mean, incredible fight by both men. Um, co-main event lasted all of about a blink of an eye. I mean, no point in wasting time. Let's just show you the co-main event. That bad boy lasted 13 seconds. Leonardo El Zambo Perdomo, he finishes Steve Hairless in 13 seconds, folks. 13 seconds. This man has insane power. Insane power. Bananas level power. And he's not that big. That's what's crazy. Hairless looks so much bigger than him. And yet Perdomo outweighs him by 20 pounds. Like, look at the size of those two guys. You saw it in the video. He outweighs him by 20 pounds. I don't know. The man's bones must be so damn dense, and the muscles are just in there. I don't know, man. The guy is crazy powerful, undefeated. Every fight finishes in seconds. People call him the Cuban Mike Tyson. He says, "I'm not Mike Tyson. I'm El Zambo." Bro, and I'm telling you right now, after the fight, he called out Ben Rothwell, who's the champion at heavyweight, and said, "Ben Rothwell, I will kill you in your kitchen, in your house." When I tell you the room in the press room went silent, like, oh shit. No bullshit. It was like, yo, I know there's a language thing, so that's probably the way he knows the language and all, because he's only been here for not too long from Cuba. But it was bone chilling. It was just like, ooh boy. Now I don't think he's gonna be fighting Ben Rothwell anytime soon. I think they're gonna continue to build up his record, and keep him away from Ben Rothwell, because Perdomo is becoming the face of the organization. And you want to build that more. This is promotion 101. You want to build that more, because what happens if he fights Rothwell and knocks him out? Okay, now what? He just keeps fighting people. I think and Perdomo wants to fight more. So if you make him the champion, he's gonna fight less. If you give him a title shot and he wins, he's gonna fight less, and he wants to fight more. I don't know what's next for Perdomo, because I mean he start. I thought this would be a tough fight for him. I really did. This guy's a huge dude, hairless. I mean, it goes to show you how tough Steve Banks is, because he beat up Steve Banks, and Steve Banks took a beating from Perdomo. And it took a minute for because Banks is like 6'7". He's huge. He's a really big guy. But yeah, this was as you saw, this was the knockout of the night. By the way, the HD Palomino fight was fight of the night. Going to the third fight of the night was Justin Joy Boy Ibarrola. He came away with the win in this fight, and Joy Boy's now 7-0. Second round finish. He got split up. He got cut up a little bit in that first round. Had some stuff to overcome. Some highlights from the fight here. Let's rewind that for you.
You can just see the difference in the.
Let's rewind that for you. Let's rewind that for you.
Extremely active with his lead knockdown number 2. You can just see the difference in the power. Every time Ibarrola lands hard, it puts.
So he now is 3-0. I mean 7-0 on for his career. Another one. This guy here, he's a young dude. He's fought a whole lot. Fun guy to watch fight. Very, as he says, I'm very patient. I treat it like a puzzle. But he's the number one contender. Unlike Perdomo, who I don't believe is listed as the number one contender at heavyweight, Ibarrola is the number one contender. It's really hard to not have him fight Alberto Blas, the champion at bantamweight for the belt. And it's hard to not have him fight him in July. Like right now, Perdomo's ranked 4th behind Arnold Adams, McTerrell, and obviously Ben Rothwell. Whereas in bantamweight, it's Ibarrola, man. He's next. He's next. I mean, Blas has already beaten Keith Richardson. He's already beaten Ryan Reber. Chris Garcia lost on this card, which was a very big upset. So who's next? I mean, maybe you could have him fight Chris Garcia. Maybe you can have him fight Keith Richardson. I don't know. Reber's fighting in May, so that doesn't seem to jive unless Reber gets a quick win and is able to fight again in July. Because I think Ibarrola, Joe would fight in July back in the Hard Rock. There's not a whole lot of fights out there for this guy. So, and he says he wants to, make money and all that stuff and be the face of BKFC. But he also has, but at the same time, he's beating everybody. He's 7-0, and 7-0 in BKFC is serious business. Guys don't walk around with 7-0 records in this organization. You get split up and you get beat. It's nuts. But yeah, big time performance by him. And we shall see what's next. But my guess is he's fighting for the belt. A little birdie told me that he doesn't want to fight for the belt. By the way, he doesn't want to fight him. Little birdie. I'll keep that to myself. I posted some reels yesterday, and I got some responses on direct message. Little birdie told me that he doesn't want to fight him. That he doesn't want to fight Blas. I don't know that anybody really wants to fight Alberto Blas with the power that he possesses, the explosion that he possesses. I don't know that anyone wants to, but you have to if you want to win the belt. So, we'll see. And then prior to that fight, we finally got to see Rambo Russo fight again, and unfortunately for him, it did not turn out well. He took a loss due to a nasty cut. I mean, it was a gnarly cut. You had to stop the fight because he was cut right under the eyelid, right here, and it was split open. It was a nasty cut. Let me see. I can show you a picture from my phone because I don't have it on the computer. It was an awful cut. You had to stop the fight. He couldn't see. He legit could not see from. Let me see if y'all can see this. Hopefully you can. I mean, look at that. That is a nasty ass cut. The man could not see and this happened in the first round. He could not see from the first round on from that eye, but it got to the third and they stopped it, I believe, at the end of the second round. He was winning the fight. He was absolutely winning the fight. And it was just a disappointing ending for him. Considering
you see that active lead left hand, measuring jab from Street. Street now playing to this very pro Rambo Russo crowd.
So you got some action there. it was just a rough go for the guy because he'd been wanting to get back in for so long, and to have it end that way was obviously disappointing for him. But he'll be back. Wasn't that he didn't fight well? He just that cut was horrible. Another fight in the night. I mean, Edgar Plazaola. My God, Edgar Plazaola is so much fun to watch. The Dream Killer. He's 5-0 now. He gets a win over Louis Lopez. He's continued to rise up the charts at featherweight at 145. The guy's built like a brick and hits hard. Obviously, Louis Lopez is clearly becoming a gatekeeper because Louis Lopez is getting beaten. Was fighting for a belt at one point or close to it, and I don't know if he fought for the belt or not. But he's gotten to that point where he's losing pretty much. He's lost. I think. Let me see. When did he last win? He won his last fight. Okay, but before that, he lost to Trizano. He lost to Duran. He lost to Kai Stewart. He did beat Howard Davis, which is a huge win for him. But he's on a bit of not doing too well. Lost 4 out of 5 now. He's becoming kind of a gatekeeper to young and up and coming fighters. Sorry, it's round 3 finish. Plazaola hits hard. Big win for him. He continues to move up the rankings. Let's see who else we got here. A really big fight on the night. One of the more exciting fights of the night. Well, there was a big upset in terms of Robert Armas beating Chris Garcia. Chris Garcia was a huge favorite and just didn't get the job done. It was a bad night for Chris Garcia. He and Garcia had some exchanges. This was an exchange early on that was absolutely bonkers. Let me see if there's any video of it on the DAZN site. Yeah, this is it right here. This is crazy shit. Look at this.
The right hand on the turn. There's the clipping right hand from Garcia. Garcia on the right hand. Armas walking through. Takes that right hand. Big shots left hand. Another right hand. Garcia continuing to land against the left hook. Hard right hand from Garcia.
I mean, that's just bonkers. They went at it. That was in the first round, and it was something to see. Something to see for sure. But I will tell you this. Garcia will be back, but he was the one with the colorful hair, and that was his first loss. He would have been looking at a potential, being close to a title shot. Now, this fight right here, Peter Peraza and Kane Tomlinson, bro. Peter Peraza is built like an absolute brick. I mean, in fact, post fight, it was said that when he came in, he was a musclehead. And he learned to fight. And that was the compliment from Dave Feldman, the president of BKFC. And that's a compliment. Like, you learn to fight. That's big, man. Peraza's obviously, been through some stuff in his life. Posted a couple reels on that yesterday. And there's clearly some bad blood between him and Brian El Gallo Duran. From what I know, they trained together. They trained in the same gym, but they never trained together. But there is some. They're not going to say it. Well, he is not going to say it. But I've talked to people, and there is some back, some beef. How bad the beef is, I have no idea. But there is some. There's some bad blood, and it's easy to deny it when you're in a press conference and all that stuff, but it's just maybe hey, it is just business. At the end of the day, this is just business. These guys are in the business of fighting, but there is some action. They're both from Miami. They're both Miami dudes, and both Cuban Miami dudes, no less. And there's beef there, and it is what it is. But Peraza, man, the biggest thing I had with Peraza when I watched him fight before was I thought his cardio needed to get better because he's got so much muscle. Like, you got to understand, he is just yoked, like absolutely yoked. And when you're punching that hard, your arms get heavy. your arms are gonna get heavy. And I thought in the last fight he had, even though he won, I thought he got heavy. I thought his arms were heavy. I thought he was tired. This fight, it was different. You could see a bigger energy because he got sparked in the first round. I thought he was going to go in the first round. I mean, Kane Tomlinson hits hard. Kane Tomlinson's longer, taller, but bro, Peraza battles back and lands. If it even Perdomo got and Peraza got a bonus as well. Even on Perdomo's knockout, this was the knockout of the night. It didn't happen in 13 seconds. But this shit, oh my God. This was ridiculous. This was absolutely fucking ridiculous.
It's a legal knockdown because Tomlinson just making himself low.
Tomlinson, if he does what he says.
Knockdown number 3. We might be done. That's it. It's a legal knockdown.
That was Peraza finishing that fight. Unbelievable finish. Let's get a Peraza Duran fight. Now, I don't know if that's a fight to make for Duran because he's ranked so high, but why not? Why not? Why not see that shit in July in Hollywood? Oh my, those two guys alone would blow the roof off. They have huge followings. It's about making bread, man. Like I know people talk about belts and all that stuff. For a lot of these guys, this has changed their lives. And this is about bread. Get paid. You can worry about belts later on, but you make these money fights where I bet you right now they sold 4,800 tickets. They sold it out, but the third level was not sold. I remember last year they sold that third level. You determine based on what day of the week, because it was a Thursday. Look, Thursday night fights. They might have been able to sell out the third level. They might have regretted not having the third level open because you have to have staff and all that stuff up there. They might have regretted not having that third level open because if that third level is open, they might have sold it out. They might have sold it out because the place was packed. And when you have all these guys from South Florida on there, why not do it? You get those two dudes, you put those two guys on the main card, like the third fight. It wouldn't be the main event. It'd probably be I don't even think it'd be a co-main event. It'd probably be the third fight. Be a feature fight. I'm telling you right now, that place, it would blow the roof off of it. These two dudes going at each other. Both those dudes come forward. Am I matchmaking? Yeah, I'm matchmaking. That's a fight I want to see. That is a fight I absolutely want to see. It's a fight that can be made because, why not? Why not? You got to do it while you have a chance to do it, But that was one hell of a fight, and definitely a fight. That fight there was the fight between Peraza and Tomlinson was a great fight, and definitely a fight between the Peraza and Duran is a fight I would love to see. There were lots of stars in attendance: David Benavidez, Tara Lowe, Shaq, Lil Pump. He's a rapper. I don't know I guess he's a rapper. I don't know really much about him, honestly. But let's see who else. Conor McGregor was there. Conor McGregor is part owner of the BKFC. Conor McGregor was in the building. Amanda Nunes, Aiden Ross. I guess he's somebody. No offense. I guess I think he's fought, but he's also like a streamer. I don't know too much about him. But yeah, man, this was a hell of a card. Hell of a card. And then, of course, I mean, I didn't see the card in Manchester, but they had a card 2 days later in Manchester. I mean, BKFC is going on and on and on. Next week in Dubai, Friday and Saturday, you have back-to-back cards in Dubai. So just so you see it, this is what's going on next week. You have Dubai on the 4th, Dubai on the 5th, Omaha the 18th, Italy on the 26th, Clearwater. I plan on going to Clearwater for that. Salt Lake City. BKFC is bringing it, man. BKFC is bringing the heat. Also on this card, just I'm going to mention everybody who fought. Did I miss anybody? Let's see here. Julio Perez Rodriguez up his record to 3-0. He with the finish of Lewis Glover. That was Glover's first fight. He got finished in that fight. And then in the early fights, Giancarlo Rivera defeated Albert Inclán. Bear Hill beats Nicholas Bloom. Bear Hill hits hard. Bloom, that was his second fight, his second loss. I think he lost a tooth in this fight. And then AJ Rodriguez, Armando Rodriguez went to 3-0. He beat Corey Roberts via third round TKO. It was a big fight of fights. Just the way BKFC does it, man. Gotta love it. But that's all I got for this edition of Combat Corner. Appreciate y'all. Like, subscribe, follow, leave a comment, ring that bell. This is Combat Corner. Powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.